Welcome to Designed for More, a podcast about what it means to live in alignment with who you really are. I'm Julie, former CEO turned human design guide and soul-led entrepreneur. Here we explore the journey of remembering your true nature and creating a life that feels deeply good from the inside out. Because you were never meant to settle. You were designed for more. Hi, my loves, and welcome back to Designed for More. Today, we are coming back to our series on strategy, and we're sitting with the Manifestors. And when I say Manifestors, I mean the wild ones, the initiators, the humans who are literally built to move first and let the world react second. If you're a manifestor, or if you love one or are raising one, then this episode is for you. And I want to name that the intention here isn't meant to be a teaching that you need to study and learn and perfect and perform. I want it to feel like a remembering, because it's your nature. It's who you are and how you were designed to move. So if you can, I invite you to take a breath with me, to feel your feet or whatever part of your body can touch a surface safely. Maybe let your shoulders drop a little. And if you are a manifestor, I invite you to notice what happens in your system when I say that you were never designed to ask for permission or to explain yourself into exhaustion maybe, or to build and sustain everything you begin. No, you were meant and designed to initiate, to speak, to set things in motion, and then pull back, rest, and wait for your next true urge. And let's just let that land for a second, because for most manifestors, this is a wildly different view from how you've been taught to live. And that is already the beginning of the remembering. When we talk about strategy in human design, we're really talking about how your energy naturally wants to interact with the world. And for manifestors, that strategy is inform, then act. But I want to make something really clear right from the beginning. Informing is not about being polite or less yourself or making everyone else comfortable while you quietly suffer. Informing is actually one of the most powerful, magical things you can do as a manifestor. It's a way of clearing the field in front of you so that when you move, your energy can be received, so that the impact that you are here to actually have lands. And if informing has ever felt like this annoying thing that you're supposed to do, or an annoying rule that you're supposed to follow, or like that it just creates too much work, I see you. And I've heard this from manifestors so many times. But I want to offer you a different way to hold it today. Less like a rule and more like a spell. Less like manners and more like magnetism. But before we go into spelling and magic, I want to name what it actually feels like to be you. Because manifestors have a very particular aura. It's often described in the, human design universe as closed and repelling. And I find that can sound really harsh. But what its meaning is that your energy is self-contained. You're not porous. People don't automatically get access to what's happening inside you. And they feel at the same time that you have a large impact. They can sense that something is moving in you, but they can't quite read your motives. They can't quite predict your next move, and they definitely can't manage you energetically. And this is different. Let's remember that there are less than 10% of manifestors in the world. So this feeling for others, how they receive you, can create a lot of reactions inside of themselves. Some people are drawn in. They sense power, independence, and mystery, and they like it. Some people feel, on the other hand, intimidated or maybe suspicious because they don't understand you. And some people might even become controlling or resistant because they can't get ahead of you, and that makes them uncomfortable. So before you've even opened your mouth, the room has already responded to you. And that is really important to understand. It's like this. Your energy moves and the world reacts, and then your mind tries to make sense of it. Which is why informing for you isn't about asking, is it okay if, what do you think about this? No. Informing is about giving people a way to relax around you. When you inform, you give other people something to hold on to. You give their nervous systems a chance to soften because now they know what's happening. They're no longer bracing against this mysterious, powerful meteor that might change direction at any moment. They can orient to you. And let's give your nervous system a moment too. If you're a manifestor, see what happens when you let this sentence in. I'm not wrong for the impact I have. I just haven't been shown how to let other people in before I move. You may have spent so much of your life reacting to everyone else's reaction to you, their confusion, their fear, their attempts to control you, their stories about you being too much or too intense, selfish, or unpredictable. And under all of that, there's an innocence. There's this very young part of you that just feels the urge, because that's the core of your design, the urge. You don't plan your creative surges the way a generator might plan a long, satisfying project. You don't wait for an invitation like a projector. The urge in you is like a lightning strike. It arrives out of nowhere from deep in your body. And it says, do this now. Start this. Say this. Go here. And if we strip away all the conditioning, that urge is sacred. It's not random. It's the way life chooses you as a portal. Every manifestor I've ever worked with knows exactly what I'm talking about when I describe that. The sense that something bigger is moving through you. The sense that you have to act on it. And the frustration or anger or deep internal pressure that builds when you try to ignore it. Your natural rhythm, if we zoom out a bit, is like this. Urge, initiation, rest. You feel the urge, you inform the field, you initiate, and then what so many manifestors ignore is you rest. For most manifestors, the place where everything gets distorted is what comes after the initiation. Because the world has told you that once you start something, well, then of course you're responsible for building it, maintaining it, tending it, nourishing it, being consistent with it, showing up for it every single day with the same energy you had at the beginning. But that is just not how your energy worked. You're not designed to be the builder. You're designed to be the spark. And this is one of the most radical reframes I see with manifestors. This moment where we sit together and I say, what if your job is to start the thing and then to let it move into others' hands? Or what if your gift is initiating, not sustaining? What if burnout has less to do with the urge itself and more to do with the story that you have to carry it alone all the way to the end? Usually there's this quiet pause, a nervous laughter, and sometimes even tears, because so many manifestors have been living their whole lives as if they're generators who just happen to be very grumpy, tired generators. Manifestor, you feel the urge, you initiate, and your energy is brilliant at this part because it's what it was designed for. But then instead of resting or handing the baton to someone else, you grit your teeth and you try to do all of the building and sustaining. You build, you manage, you troubleshoot, you keep showing up for it long after your energy for it is actually gone. So you're squeezing it out of you. And of course you burn out. Of course you get angry. Of course resentment builds. Sometimes it shows up like classic manifestor anger. Sometimes it has more of a bitter flavor, especially if you've been conditioned by a lot of projectors in your life. But underneath it is this deep, why is no one else carrying this with me? So I want to offer this idea gently, but very clearly. If you're burning out after your urges, it's not because your urges are wrong. It's because you're trying to keep doing a job that your energy was never designed to do. Manifestor, again, let me remind you, your job is to initiate, to inform the people who are meant to join you, and to trust that once the train has left the station, it does not need you to be the engine room every single day for the rest of its life. And this is where we start to talk about your support team. I don't mean support team in some kind of corporate way, although it could be, but I mean the humans, the structures, the systems, the energies that are meant to hold what you initiate. For some manifestors, that support team is literal, like a partner who understands your creative cycles and can help with the practical pieces, or colleagues, employees who love building and maintaining once you've set the direction. Family members or good friends who can step in when your energy pulls back. For others, the support team is more energetic. It can look like structures and routines that hold your life when you're in a rest phase, or the way you set up your business model so it doesn't depend on you being on 24/7, or the agreements you have with people about how you communicate when you're in an urge or in a cocoon. Either way, you're not meant to live like a lone wolf who initiates and then suffers. And this is where informing becomes essential. Again, not as a rule, but as a way of inviting in that support. When you say, hey, I'm about to start something new, you're not asking if that's okay. You're saying, this is where the energy is about to move. If you're meant to be a part of it, well, this is your chance to come in closer. And that's the nuance that often gets missed. Informing is not actually really emotional, it's directional. It's not you dumping your process or justifying your urge or convincing people to be okay with you. It's you standing in your authority and saying, this is what I'm doing, this is where I'm going, this is how it's going to affect the collective field. And then letting it go. Letting people respond however they respond. As Mel Robbins says, let them. Some will lean in, some will stay neutral, some will pull away because they're not meant for the next phase of your path, and all of those are correct. But without informing, everyone is just reacting to an impact that they don't understand. And that's where you meet the most resistance. That's where you get the pushback, or someone trying to control you, or saying, why are you doing it like that? That energy that feels so suffocating to you. So as we continue, I invite you to hold this bigger picture. Your aura manifestor is powerful and self-contained. Your urges are sacred. Your role is to initiate, not to be the eternal builder. That's what generators are for. And informing is how you create enough coherence around you that other people can actually help carry what you start. I want to zoom in on the conditioning piece and talk about why it's so hard for manifestors to do this, though, to let go once they've built something. That moment where you know you should hand it over, but your body is clinging. Okay, let's go deeper into the conditioning. One of the most painful patterns I see with manifestors is this loop. You feel the urge, you initiate, you build, you get tired, you get angry that no one is helping, and then you feel guilty for being angry. And then by the time you're ready to hand it off to someone else, you're so exhausted and burnt out that it feels almost impossible to let go. There's this mix maybe of no one will do it right. I've poured so much of myself into this, and if I'm not the only one carrying it, do I even still matter here to this creation that I've literally birthed? And that last piece is huge because part of your conditioning has likely been that your value is in your independence, that your value is in doing it yourself, that your value is being the one who starts and holds and pushes and drives. So even when you know that you need to hand something off, maybe it's a project, a role in your business, the emotional labor in a relationship, there can also be this grief and this bitterness that can rise. I've had Manifestor clients say things like, I built the whole thing, I created the vision, I got it off the ground, and now I'm expected to just hand it over to someone else and disappear? That doesn't feel good. Or, I know I don't have the energy to keep holding this, but the idea of letting someone else run with it makes me so angry. Like they're going to get the credit for what I birthed. And if you have the channel of community, it's probably even more amplified. Can you feel it? There's a real wound here around both being needed and used. On the one hand, people absolutely need your initiating energy. Without manifestors, without you, humanity would stay in the same loops forever. You are the ones who say and who have the energy for, who are the portal, the channel for, we're going this way now, often long before anyone else can see why. And you've likely had experiences where people were very happy to benefit from your spark, but not very available when you needed support or rest or acknowledgement. So your system doesn't fully trust letting go. It doesn't trust that if you hand something off, you'll still be honored. It doesn't trust that if you rest, you won't be forgotten. And then layered on top of that, you have this aura that people can't read. You have a lifetime of people reacting to you, misunderstanding you, projecting onto you. So of course, your body is cautious. And this is where we come back to informing, again, not as a rule, not as something to perform or perfect, but more like a spiritual and energetic practice, not just a communication tip. Because informing is not only what you do before you start something, it can also be what you do as you transition out of it. You might say, I've taken this as far as I meant to, and I'm handing it to you now. Or maybe even, I'm not available to sustain this level of involvement anymore. I'm transitioning into a different role. Or the energy in me for this is complete. I'm trusting that those who are meant to hold it next will feel called. Can you feel how different that is from quietly disappearing in anger or staying and grinding yourself into dust? Informing at the end is just as powerful as informing at the beginning. And there's this other deeper layer about informing, a deeper power, you might say, the relationship with your own voice. If you're a manifestor, you automatically have a defined throat center. And for you, your voice is not just a cute tool. Your voice is a creative force. You are literally designed to speak things into form. When something is still formless, an urge, an idea, a direction, a knowing, and you give it language, it's like the universe receives a command. Your words don't describe reality, they start rearranging it. You might notice that when you say something out loud, it tends to happen. Or that when you declare something, people start moving around you in response. Sometimes maybe you didn't even mean for that to happen. And this is part of why you've been conditioned to be careful or quiet or strategic. People may have unconsciously felt the power of your voice and reacted to it. But I want to invite you into a different relationship with that power. Instead of feeling like you have to hide it, what if you saw informing as a way to aim it? When you say, I'm starting this, I'm changing this, I'm stepping away from this, you're not just giving information, you're opening portals. You're closing doors that are complete. You're giving the universe a very clear set of instructions about where your energy is going and what it's available for. You are literally calling spirit, life, source, whatever language you use, into form through your throat. For a manifestor, informing is spell work. I'm informing that this is the direction. I'm informing that this is over. I'm informing that my body needs rest and that rest is now supported. Every time you inform, you're softening the static around your aura. You're giving people and the universe a chance to align with what's true instead of just reacting to the shock waves. Informing is a very practical, powerful, empowering strategy. When you inform at the beginning, when you speak your urge into existence, you lessen any current or potential for resistance around you. You open up the field. You offer something for generators to respond to. You open up invitations for projectors to see into, to support you. And those that are meant for you, who are meant for the vision that you hold, who are meant to move where you are directing the energy to move, will move with you, will support you, will build the thing, will sustain the thing, will take care of the thing while you rest, while you wait for the next urge and surge to arrive. When you inform, when your energy is complete, when you inform what you need, when you need to rest, when your energy is done with a project and it's time to move on to something else, you are again creating a portal. You are quite a portal manifestor as I speak this podcast into existence. I'm noticing how many ways you create portals energetically through your throat. When you inform at the end, wherever you feel into completion, you're opening a portal for the energy to be redirected for someone else to receive, for someone else to pour into, for someone else to devote themselves to, so that you can get what you need, so that you can replenish, so that you can reset, so that you can be available for the next urge, the next surge of energy, the next manifestation. I certainly don't want the strategy of inform to turn into another cage. You're not here to perform good manifestor behavior so that human design approves of you. You're here to experiment, to feel the difference in your body between moving without informing and moving with informing, to notice how relationships shift when you let people in just a little bit earlier, to notice how much energy you get back when you're not constantly pushing against resistance. But you get to have your own data. You get to have your own relationship with life. You get to refine what informing looks like, what it feels like for you, and whether or not it's working for you. That might mean that your informing is very short and simple. I'm doing this. I'm not available. I'm leaving now. It might mean that you add one more sentence for your support team. I'm doing this, and here's roughly how it will affect you. It might mean that in some relationships you inform more because it creates safety. In others, you might inform less because less is needed. There's no single or right script. But there is a felt difference in your own body when you're informing from power versus informing from apology. So let me offer a few simple examples and just notice how they land. With a partner, you might say, "Hey, love, I'm feeling a strong urge to dive into something tonight. I'm going to be in my creative cave for a few hours." Point. Absolute. Nothing more needed. Or with kids, "I'm going to take 30 minutes of quiet time, and when I come back out, I'm all yours." Or with colleagues, "I'm shifting the direction of this project. Here's the new focus. I'm going to initiate the change, and then I'll need your help to maintain it." Or with your audience, if you have one, "I'm feeling called to change how I offer my work. Over the next few weeks, you'll see things shifting, and I'll keep you informed as I go." Maybe even with yourself. "I feel the urge. I'm informing the field, and now I'm moving." You might even play with saying that last one out loud before you act. "I feel the urge. I'm informing. I'm moving." It sounds simple, and it is, but spoken with presence that can be incredibly regulating for your system. If you're a manifestor, your energy is precious. You don't have the same access to sustainable, ongoing life force that generators do. You have this beautiful, intense, initiatory power that comes in waves. Your strategy, inform than act is not about making you easier for everyone else. It's about protecting that energy. It's about setting up your life so that when the urge comes, you can say yes to it. It's about making sure that what you initiate can be held and carried by others so that you can rest without everything collapsing. Most importantly, without you collapsing. I want you to imagine just for a moment a version of your life where you fully trust that. Trust that you do not have to be the one who sustains everything you start. Trust that your job is to initiate from a clean urge, inform clearly, and then let the right people take their place around you. You are allowed to step back when your body says that you're done, even if the project is still alive. And you are not less valuable when you're resting. In fact, your rest is what makes your next initiation possible. What does it feel like in your body when you invite that trust in? Maybe your shoulders drop, maybe your jaw softens, maybe your chest loosens. Maybe you can take a deeper breath. If so, that sensation, that exhale, is your nervous system recognizing truth. The truth that you're not designed to grind or constantly prove your usefulness or build empires all by yourself. You're designed to be a catalyst, to feel and know something before others can, and then to give it language, to move first and let your voice open the way for all of us. And when you allow informing to support you, when you speak the formless into form with clarity and sovereignty, then your path becomes so much smoother. Maybe not perfect or drama-free, but truer. So to any manifestor who's listening, I want to remind you, you are not too much or unreliable or broken somehow because you can't sustain everything you start. You're a fire starter. You're a spellcaster with your voice. You're a living threshold between what hasn't existed yet and what's about to begin. And the strategy to support this manifesting process is simple but not small. Feel the urge, inform the field, act from your authority, and hand it off when your energy is complete. Then, importantly, rest as deeply as you need to. And then when the next true urge comes, and it will, you'll be ready. And this is my intention for you. This is my blessing and my prayer for you. Manifestor, may you trust your timing. May you allow yourself to initiate without apology. May you let informing become a sacred part of how you move through life, not as a rule, but as a ritual for you. For your support, for your well-being, for your flow, to feel your own power without resistance. May you be surrounded by people who are capable of holding what you begin. And may you remember in the quieter moments when you wonder if you're too much or not enough, that you were always, always designed for more. I'm so grateful you're here, Manifestor, and I cannot wait to see what you start next. Thanks for listening to Designed for More. If you felt sparked or seen in today's episode, I'd love for you to leave a review, share it with a friend, or come find me on Instagram at JulieByDesign. And remember, your clarity is sacred and your joy is a signal. You are designed for more.